Strength training is fat loss training. This is the name of an article written by Bret Contreras, an amazing guy that's been in the fitness industry for decades and made a huge impact. But I read this article years ago, and it's one of the concepts that I love to teach clients about why strength training directly impacts fat loss. All right, so let's talk about this. So I've drawn up these beautiful pictures of somebody before strength training and somebody after. And let's say it's after 1 year of strength training. So this person over here, they're 200 pounds, they're 30% body fat, which means that 60 pounds, they have 60 pounds of fat, okay? Now, if they strength train for a year, a man could expect to gain, if they do a good job of their training, nutrition, recovery, they can expect to gain about 20 pounds for women. They can expect to gain about, say, 10 pounds. There's a range here, but let's just say this guy's gained 20 pounds of muscle. And muscle, and along with that muscle comes water and some other increased carbohydrate storage in the form of glycogen, things like that. But let's say they've put on 20 pounds of what we would call lean mass. This is anything that's not fat. So they put on 20 pounds of lean mass over the course of a year, but they have no change in their body weight. They're eating the same way. So they've not changed their eating habits, right? At the end of the year, they're still 200 pounds, but they're going to look very different. They're still 200 pounds, but remember, they gained 20 pounds of lean mass, which means, a little math for you, so hang on. And if you can't math with me, just trust me, I'm not lying to you. I am a math nerd, and my math is accurate here. If they are still 200 pounds, and they've added 20 pounds of lean mass, that means they have to have lost 20 pounds of fat. That's the only way their weight can stay the same. So now they're down to 40 pounds. They're at 20%, a much healthier and leaner, and many would say better looking body fat percentage without losing any weight. And now if we take it a step further, and let's say this person over the course of the year, not only did they build 20 pounds of muscle, but they also did lose 20 pounds on the scale. They got down to 180. Losing 20 pounds in a year doesn't sound that crazy, does it? No, it doesn't. That would mean they're now, let's see if I got my marker, if they also lost 20 pounds, they would be 180, and they would be 10% body fat, very lean. Got a six pack here, okay? Very lean. You would only have 20 pounds of fat, all right? And this is just here to demonstrate how powerful strength training is when it comes to fat loss. Imagine if you went from 30% to 20%, 40% to 30% without changing your weight at all. That would mean you're going to be down at least a couple dress sizes. Now, I recommend if you're trying to lose fat that you should make dietary changes, increase your walking, maybe do a little cardio in addition to your strength training so that you're losing a good bit of weight while losing fat just from the strength training. It's going to lead to much crazier results like we see over here. We'll often see people lose 4+ clothing sizes over the course of the year, but I have seen dozens of times men and women both coming to me refusing to change their diet. They're like, Nate, I want to strength train. I know this is good for me. I don't want to change my diet. I want to keep eating Chick-fil-A every day or whatever. I've literally heard that. You know who you are. You're probably watching this video. But those people often still go on to lose 2+ sizes in a year despite not making any changes to your diet. So how would you like being leaner, stronger, and healthier just by adding 2 to 3, maybe 4 days a week for 45 minutes of strength training? It will totally change your life, your body health, your lifestyle, how you look, how you feel, how you perform, and your health. All right, the other thing I want to point out is that you've probably all seen the model. The model tends to be all wrong, but let's call this 5 pounds of fat, and let's call this 5 pounds of muscle. So muscle is more dense than fat, which means that 5 pounds of muscle takes up less space. So what happens here, even though they're the same weight, they're gonna fit in different clothes because they have less fat, so less of this and more of this, so they're just gonna get tighter. Not only that, and Bret Contreras breaks this down beautifully in his article, much better than I'm explaining here, but you lose fat in all the right places. The majority of the fat is going to come off the fattest sections, the stomach and the hips. You're going to get nice and lean in the areas where you've been carrying around excess fat. And of course, you'll lose fat in the arms and the thighs, for example, but you don't have as much fat there proportionally to here. You'll also build muscle in the right places. Women especially will build muscle in the hips and the thighs. And men, especially women, will build muscle in the arms and chest and shoulders and upper back, but to a much less degree, ladies. It's really going to give you that lean, toned, defined look that you want. Men have a lot more androgen receptors up here, more likely to build muscle throughout the upper body, more testosterone, all those things. So, guys, you're going to end up with that, that V shape, more muscle across the chest, the back, the shoulders, a leaner waist, and strong tree trunk legs. Right? Women, you're going to end up more toned and defined. So, a lot of women come to me and they're worried about, I don't want to bulk up. Well, here's the thing. You're going to be way more bulky carrying around excess fat. When you start building muscle, you're going to lose fat, but also the muscle that you build, it's muscle, but it's hard, it's firm. It's going to give you the lean, toned, defined look that you want, and it takes up less space. So you will have to buy smaller clothes. So that is why. And again, you should check out the article that Bret Contreras wrote, Strength Training is Fat Loss Training. But this is why strength training is so powerful when it comes to fat loss, in a way that cardio, while it is beneficial, doesn't offer the same fat loss benefits that strength training does. And one more note, in terms of fat loss and strength training compared to cardio, a big drive, look, if you lose weight, that is going to be the fastest way to lose fat, is losing weight. But it's important that you're strength training the whole time, because if you're doing cardio, the scale might go down faster, but you're going to lose a combination. Yes, you're losing majority fat, but you're also going to be losing muscle. You're going to be losing some lean mass. Whereas if you do your cardio, that's great. If you want to supplement, get a little extra fat loss with some cardio, burn some extra calories, that's great. But while you're losing weight from dietary changes, make sure you're strength training so that of the weight you're losing, the vast majority is coming from fat and not lean muscle. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you're going to be lean, strong, and healthy, how you're going to feel good, look good, perform well, so that you can do the things that you love with the people you love. That is why strength training is fat loss training.